gimmicks. Yeah. No gimmicks, taking over, no limits. Motivation, the truth inside everything you are hearing. Reporting live, know you feel it. Wrestling is everything that we won't know what special meaning. We on it live with no gimmicks. No gimmicks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Todd Smith here once again alongside my chat team partner Dale Clifford out there in Fernley, Nevada. And welcome to yet another episode of the No Gimmicks podcast, broadcasting on the 3 and Out Radio Network. Dale, what is good, my man?
What up, Todd? Wrapping up a solid NFL weekend, and I also caught the new Star Wars movie, Last Jedi. So kind of excited for that one. Then obviously we're doing our thing here on the No Gimmicks podcast, and we got another indie wrestler that I think we all want to talk about. And this guy does more than he protects and serves. Let me put it that way there too.
Yes, he does, my man. The Shogun Chris Logan from the mean streets of Chicago, Illinois. Hey, Chris, what's good, my man?
No complaints, no complaints. Thank you very much for having me on your show. I've been looking forward to it for some months now since the first time we talked. And I just want to say I really appreciate you having me on your show. Both of you guys having me on the show.
Most definitely, bro. Hey, so you've been in the pro wrestling business for 9 years, you had said, and you were trained by Sam DeCero. So just kind of tell us a little bit about your experience with him and your training in Windy City Pro Wrestling.
Okay. Well, it's funny. As a kid, I always enjoyed watching professional wrestling. I still remember my early days of watching Raw, WCW Saturday nights, and a show that used to go on the Access channels. If anybody who was old enough to remember cable access channels in your hometown. Windy City Pro Wrestling used to air on Channel 25 on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. And on those nights, they used to show professional wrestlers from that area. And at one time, WCPW, Windy City Pro Wrestling, was the biggest independent company in the nation, in the Midwest. They pretty much were like, it wasn't really a territory. They really were an independent organization. That was back in the 80s all the way up to about the early 2000s.
Okay.
And then Sam DeCero. Actually, there's funny history behind Windy City, Sam DeCero, and Paul Heyman. Long story behind that. But you had wrestlers like Christopher Daniels that actually trained under Sam DeCero. That's where Christopher Daniels comes from.
Okay.
So, as a kid, they say, hey, if you want to be a professional wrestler, a referee, a manager, come to us and we'll train you. So I saw these commercials for years, grew up, kind of forgot about it, but around the age of 21, 22, I got interested in it again. But then at that time, around 22, 23, I met my now wife, Carrie, and, started to settle down doing stuff. And then 2 years later, I became a Chicago police officer. In the area I work in, the training, where they did Windy City Pro Wrestling, where I work at. So the guy I was working with that day, my field training officer, said, hey, I know the guy who runs Windy City. Take you. Like, yeah, I always wanted to go there and meet him. So I met Sam DeCero, and after the first time we met, he said, do you want to train? And I said, I would love to learn the art of professional wrestling. And that's how I got into it 9 years ago. I saw him in his uniform. He thought, cop, black guy, big, hey, let's do something with this. And that's professional wrestling.
Okay, right on, man. Hey, so we got acquainted through a mutual friend of ours. There's a cat by the name of Devin Gildark. He trained with us at the Reno Wrestle Factory out there in Nevada. So now tell me a little bit about that. How did you and Devin kind of, meet each other?
Gildark is definitely an interesting person.
Yes, he is.
Gildark. Devin is he's a really good guy. If you don't know him, you won't know him. He's one of those guys. He's hard to read or understand, but once you get to know him, he's a pretty decent guy. I started training at Windy City at the same time he did. I think I don't remember if he came in right after me or right before me.
Okay.
He actually came in around the same time. Me, Devin, a kid named Roberts, Brandon. His shoot name is Brandon, but his father was Buddy Roberts from the Freebirds.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah. Then we all pretty much started training together, and that's how I met Devin.
Okay, cool, man. Good stuff. Dale, what you got next for Chris?
So obviously you highlighted on and we touched on one of the things that you would do outside of professional wrestling is joining law enforcement, and you're also in mixed martial arts. So how did you kind of or which mixed martial arts discipline have you studied?
Well, as a child, well, actually my teenage years all the way until I was about 20 to study from karate to traditional jiu-jitsu, Japanese jiu-jitsu. I studied kung fu and a little of capoeira and what else did I study? Because and taekwondo just a little bit, but my main art was karate and jiu-jitsu.
Okay. That's a pretty solid mix you got there. Now, capoeira, that's kind of like the art that they teach down there in Brazil that involves like a lot of dance moves and whatnot, right?
Yeah, the history of capoeira, the reason why I loved it so much, because like I said, I just learned this a little bit. I didn't really get into it, but the reason I wanted to learn it because it's pretty much really instilled in our culture as African Americans. Capoeira was a art that was created to hide the martial arts. When the slaves were down in South America, these slave owners would, they wouldn't allow certain things. So the way they kept up with their art, they hid it in dance form. And so it tricked the slave masters. So the slave masters, they're just acting a fool. They dance and they're throwing their legs in the air, not knowing that they're actually practicing their art.
We had them fooled, didn't we? So now, hey, man, just kind of curious here, which promotions have you wrestled for, and which titles have you held throughout your career?
Okay. Here we go. I'm not saying I've done a lot, but here we go. Windy City Pro Wrestling, I was the tag champion. That was my first title I ever held, was tag championships. And then I became Windy City Pro Wrestling's Inner City champion. That was like their intercontinental title. Then moving on, I wrestled in a few companies down south, MECW, Metro East Championship Wrestling. That was ran by Marlon McDarby. Good guy. Actually, it was a really good company. They were the first company that let me go outside of where I was at, where I trained at. And I hooked up with a guy named Eric Allen down there. Really, that's like my best friend now, brother of mine. His bodyguard. And I moved to champions with a guy named Shorty Biggs, another great guy. Then we moved on to Just Pro Wrestling up here in Chicago, where I became the Midwest champion. And then SSW, Stars and Stripes Wrestling, which is in Kenosha, I became the Heritage champion. And then if you want to keep going, actually what I was proud of was Pro Wrestling Blitz, which was ran by Tony Scarpone. Was down due to reasons out of control. But I wrestled for that company. I became Pro Wrestling Blitz No Limits champion, two-time King of Blitz champion. First time ever, by the way, and actually only time now. And the last heavyweight champion, Pro Wrestling Blitz. I'm actually starting to wrestle for another company called Berwyn Championship Wrestling. That's actually going pretty well right now. And wrestle for another company called Wisconsin Pro Wrestling, which is, of course, in Wisconsin. They mainly focus out of Green Bay area. And it's funny, me being a Chicago Bears fan, I'm in Green Bay. It's kind of a funny part, ironic. Mm-hmm. And another big company is about to start. I don't know if you guys remember old company called Lunatic Wrestling Federation, LWF, that was run by Billy Wack. CM Punk actually started there at LWF. Billy Wack, I like to call the evil genius of professional wrestling, is now about to start a new company. And that's the one, when it starts up, you guys look forward to it. I'm telling you right now.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for putting us up on game on those, because I haven't heard of most of those companies there. Dale, what you got next for Chris?
So I want to talk a little bit more about your ring name. Why did you choose Shogun?
Okay, so funny. I'm a huge comic book movie fanatic. I love 80s, 90s genre, nostalgia, comic books, video games, you name it. And it's to figure out a name for myself when it came to wrestling. I was going through a bunch of names in my head when I first started. First, I said I'm gonna call myself the Young Buck. This is right around the time before the Young Bucks even came out. And I used to call a guy named Old School. back in my old dojo, because every time you see me, come on over here, young buck, and he'll show me how to bench press and do all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was running through those things in my head. And Sam DeCero, who was still stuck in the 80s and 90s, he wanted to call me the new Zeus. He wanted to shave a L in my head for Logan and have me walk around like this. It was hilarious. So I knew, I was like, whoa. And the reason Logan first with Chris Logan, because my fraternity name is Logan. And the reason it's an acronym, it means lost one grievances and negativities.
Oh, okay.
I was like, Chris Logan is cool, but I need something else. I need something. And then one day I'm watching The Last Dragon.
Yes.
And I'm like, there it goes. That's it. And I just adopted a name. And at the time when I was a heel, I was very arrogant, brash, loud, like the Shogun from the movie. So that's how I got the name Shogun.
Hey, who's the prettiest? Show enough? Yes. Okay. Love that movie. Yeah, that's a cult. That's definitely a cult favorite there. So hey, Chris, do you work mostly as a heel or as a face?
When I first started, everybody made me the heel. Which I would try to be the heel. I try to be this bad guy, this jerk, and then for some reason, people still liked me. And I could never understand why. Like, I asked my wife, like, I'm supposed to be bad, but she's like, yeah, everybody likes you. You just have that personality that people like you. So, I was a heel for many years, and I said, well, let me try being a face, and it just kind of stuck with me. And I enjoy being a face, and it a lot because you start realizing people actually police, and they really enjoy that I'm a police officer, and that actually pushes the face more. And especially up here in Chicago, I have a few fans that come to a show or two, and I'm surprised when a person walks up to me like, man, I've been waiting to see you wrestle, and I followed you all the way up here to Wisconsin. I'm like, bye, and like, no, you're cool, you're a cop, and that's actually pretty cool. I get a couple fans on Facebook hit me up, people to come to the show, they just want to take a picture with me, and it's a humbling experience, and I really enjoy it.
Right on, man. So Dale, what you got next for Chris?
So who in the business has been an inspiration for you?
Well, I'm gonna stop like this. My top 5 wrestlers of all times: Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Stone Cold, Rob Van Dam, Kurt Angle. And Shawn Michaels, the reason being, just loved how he worked the ring. In fact, right here, my wife got me this for Christmas one year. And it's actually Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle's authentic signature.
Nice. Very nice, my man.
And I keep that up there as an inspiration to, keep me going. And, that's why my finishing move is a super kick. I know a lot of people do the super kick as a setup move now or whatever, but I still do the super kick as a finishing move. It's with me being a bigger guy, me putting my size 13 in your face. And my wife says I have tree trunk legs, so she's like, it makes sense.
All right. And what's the name of that finisher that you be kicking him in the face with there, Chris?
Well, when I first started, because I used to actually do it from the top rope, I used to call it Kiss My Converse. This is
nice.
The KMC kick.
I like it, man.
So I just kept it going. But, now I just do a super kick. I don't really have no genius name for it. I mean, I just say Kiss My Converse. That's all.
Very nice. Hey, so name one opponent who you face so you could consider like one of your favorite opponents to work a match with. Also, I'd like to say choose one who you would like to face in a dream match.
There's a lot. I got a few. My brother, who is Shane Fury. I love wrestling my brother. And he's Victory, Ice Victory. He's been big here in the Midwest. He's also trained by San Francisco as well. He's been in numerous organizations. He actually wrestled with WWE here and there a long time ago. But the reason why I love wrestling Vic Capri is because very huge fans and we love Japanese style, strong style. And me and him can get in the ring and just beat the living hell out of each other. 20 to 30 minutes and enjoy every minute of it. Match, dream. I have a few. I would love to go against Ricochet.
Okay.
On the indie scene. Still want to wrestle Christopher Daniels. I don't know why, but that's always been a dream of mine. Like when I first got to Windy City Pro Wrestling, the first thing I said was, if somehow, some way you can get me against Christopher Daniels, I would love you. Christopher Daniels.
Yeah.
Keith Lee. I would love to wrestle Keith Lee. Bigger guy to me, but you know, it's funny because me being a bigger guy, a lot of times people think I'm just going to have this big man match, but they don't know I can actually fly all over the place.
Okay.
Stuff on the top rope, but you know, a lot of people don't understand I'm agile, and people never understood that until I went against the baddest man alive, Aaron Williams, another opponent I love to wrestle. Me and him went at a few times in Pro Wrestling Blitz. He's now your IWA champion, and and the first time I had a match with him, I had my promoter. Guys were coming up to me and like, I didn't do those moves. I'm like, I've been trying to tell you guys a book against people like him so I can show you that. So, but I think big agile guys, I think they have a lot of fun with each other.
Okay. So yeah, so it'll either be the BME versus Kiss My Converse or against the I believe it's the Spirit Bomb from Keith Lee, right? Yep. That's what he calls that, I believe. Dale, what you got next for Chris?
So how did you get in contact with Montesi, our man behind the entrance musics?
Okay, so Pro Wrestling Bliss was starting to move into a different direction where they wanted to start selling DVDs and, you know, really get out there on the internet and television and stuff like that. So they needed original music from the wrestlers. So they came up with some kind of deep player created #1 song that I've never heard of. And I'm like, ugh. I said, I need some new music. I put it on Facebook. I said, hey, I need music. Somebody help me. And a good friend of mine, Nyla Rose, from the East Coast, she's actually been in Japan a few for Marvelous. She sent me a message. I hit up this guy. I messaged him, and he was like, what do you need? I said, look, this is me. This is my character. This music I had before. I need something like this. And he said, okay. It took him a little bit of time. Still, while he was going through a lot of things, but he did get it to me. And once he heard it, I played it for my brother and my wife. We were all standing there when the music hit, and we were just all like. And then the violin came in. His lyrics are really laying down on the track, and I'm like, yep, this is it. So that's how me and him hooked up. And I've actually helped him.
Good stuff. Hey, yeah, because if you weren't aware, he's the one who did our theme, our intro for the No Gimmicks podcast. Also, Lance in Hawaii, who was our guest last week on the No Gimmicks podcast, he did his theme song as well. So we've met some good people through Montesi.
Really hooking it up, and you know, he's very talented. I actually enjoyed, you know, what he gave me, and you know, it's a really good song. You know, the crowd really is into it as soon as the music hits, and I really thank him for it.
Right on, man. Hey, so as you said before, you are one of Chicago's finest, and you patrol the mean streets of the Windy City. So we kind of already talked a little bit about what made you want to join the professional wrestling business. What made you choose that line of work of being a police officer out there in Chicago?
It's funny. I was just talking about this to. I had to do an essay. I'm back in school. I'm at DePaul University trying to get my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And right now I'm taking a social justice class. And one of the questions was, why did you get into police work? I actually wanted to be a fireman.
Okay.
I love the movie Backdraft. Backdraft's based on Chicago firefighters. Love the movie. My wife gets tired of it because I can watch it over and back to back over and over again. One of the top 5 movies of all time. You know, I wanted to be a fireman. But my grandfather was very influential in my life, somebody I idolized for a very long time. He came to me, you know, like I said, he was, you know, worked for the mayor's office. He's somebody who really pushed for more African-American police officers before I got hired. Right. And he asked, you know, he was like, no. I said, I want to be a fireman. He said, there's something got to be wrong with you if you want to run into a burning building. There's something wrong with you if you want to run towards a bullet. So, you know, we had discussions, and he said, be a police officer? I said, no. And he said, why? I said, police officers are jerks. Nobody likes them. They're bad. And he straight up said to me, he said, have you ever had a bad encounter with a police officer? I said, no. Have you ever met a police officer that was disrespectful towards you? I said, no. Were you ever stopped for no reason? Why are you going off for somebody else what they said? Like, and he's like, beat it. And it seems some kind of Spider-Man type corny, you know, comic book start, you know, like you could be, and he literally said to me, one man, he was like, you can be the difference, be that person. I said, Grandpa, no one person can make a difference. He said, you're wrong. Police officer. And that's why I became a Chicago police officer. And that was, I took the test in 2006, and I was sworn in 2008.
Share that story, brother. Share that story, man. We need more of that, especially, you know, with the way things are right now in our country. Okay.
I love my job.
Good.
You know, as unfortunately, you know, the bad apples that are making the media are making it look bad for the good officers. It's great officers out there, and there's a lot of police officers that put their lives on the line every day. You know, while people are asleep, nestled in their beds, police officers are out at, you know, nighttime, negative 15 degrees, and working at butt. So, you know, it's a job that can humble you, that can make you feel like you're doing something good, and that's why I really enjoy being a Chicago police officer. I'm very proud of it.
Good stuff, Chris. So Dale's got a follow-up question for you.
What would you say has been the most dangerous situation that you've come across while on duty?
Let's see. A couple of months ago, I almost got hit by a car on a traffic stop because he wanted to get away. To seeing my sergeant get stabbed in the face with a knife, and I was trying to. Sergeant fell on top of me. To, let me see, chasing a guy with a gun. You know what I mean? I have so many, like, you know, somebody asked me that other question the other day, and it's just so many to talk about over and over again. And not really a lot of stand out to me because I've done so much. I mean, shoot, I remember one time we're on a call. We're not even on a call. We're helping police officers that stopped some gangbangers selling dope. You know, some dude is shooting out the alley at us. I mean, it happens. And to, you know, car chase where chase these three kids who stole some poor woman's car. Chase one kid out of the house, out of the car. He runs. You know, he grabs his jacket like he has a pistol. And he showed. Luckily, he didn't. You know, those kind of things. Russian, and you got to make a split decision right there. What do I do? Do I tase him, shoot him? Do I tackle him? You know, another time where officers were stopping this guy, and they pulled him out the car because he was giving the wrong name, lying about his name. And as they were about to put him in handcuffs, he was fighting them. It's three, and me and my partner had to be pulling up. We were just patrolling the area. We had to be pulling up, and these two officers fighting this guy, run out, jump. Tackle the guy to the ground. As soon as I hit him, I felt the gun in his jacket. And we were wrestling for this gun. And it kind of reminded me of the story that happened, I don't know if Ohio, or where the guy had the gun in his pocket and the police officer shot him. I was very close in that same situation because the guy he put his hand on the gun, and I'm fighting this guy. And I said, hey, let go of the gun, let go of the gun. He wouldn't let go of the gun. And the rights to shoot him. And I grabbed my gun, and I was about to put it to the only reason why I never pulled the trigger is because the only thing went through my head was, if I shot this guy, officer kills, and that's the only thing the media will ever show.
Yep.
They won't show the fact that we were fighting with this guy for 2 to 3 minutes to get the gun away from him. You know, we were doing everything we possibly can to avoid a situation like that. So, you know, hosted my gun, went back into the fight. Luckily, we got the gun out the kid's hand, put him in cuffs, and that was definitely a very extreme moment. The reason why he was fighting us wasn't just because he had a gun. He had a warrant for possession of a gun, and he had a warrant for not showing up to court for another gun case. So he had 2 gun cases plus this gun case that went against him.
Wow, man. Hey, but hey, thankfully cooler heads prevailed and no one wound up losing their life in the process, right? So now, hey, let's take both of your careers here and let's take a look at these when they possibly intersect, okay? Because Dale and I, like I said, we spent some time in the pro wrestling business. We know some of the activities that people partake in. Have you ever had to arrest anyone who was a professional wrestler?
No, thank God I haven't. It was one. Well, it was a funny moment when I get in the wrestling business. We're in a locker room. I'm not going to mention the wrestler's name.
Of course
and
not.
I'm sitting there and I'm putting my tape on. I'm getting ready for the show. And the wrestler walks up to me like, "Hey, I heard you're a police officer." I said, "Yeah." He said, "So you're a Chicago cop?" I said, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "How do you feel about guys doing extracurricular activities in the back?" And I said, "Bro, I'm off duty. I'm here to wrestle. What you do on your time, that's your time.
Okay.
It's out of sight, out of mind." So no, I'm lucky I have not had to do anything like that.
All right, man. Dale, what you got next for Chris?
So which career do you see taking you farther, professional wrestling or law enforcement?
Right now I'm kind of stuck. I love my job. I love being a police officer. That's why I'm in school right now to get my bachelor's degree. Wrestler. I'm going to go to do the Harley race camp this year. If I always told my wife, by the time I get 35 and nothing further happens for me in professional wrestling, then I'll hang up the boots, because then I can really focus on law enforcement. It's a gamble doing professional wrestling while a police officer, because the injuries can happen, and that can jeopardize my law enforcement career. I would like to become a sergeant in the Chicago Police Department. That's what I'm working for right now. And, hopefully move further on, especially after I get my bachelor's degree. So when I retire from the police department, now I'm going to doing bigger and better things, my experience plus a degree in, public safety, things of that nature. So right now I'm kind of on the fence. Want to do something with my wrestling career. I would love to get to Japan. So, that's what I'm saying. Let me try this Harley race camp and see what happens. So this year I'm gonna do it.
Good stuff. Hey, so to follow up on that, which company would be your dream company to work for in Japan? Would it be New Japan or like Noah or All Japan? Which one?
Of course, New Japan.
Okay.
New Japan. But I would love to get over to Noah and try that. Whoever says, "Hey, Shogun, come on over." That's of course that's what we'll go for with first.
Hey, you do kind of resemble the only brother to ever hold the IWGP title. That Bob Sapp, was the IWGP champ years ago. You guys kind of favor one another a little bit. So, hey, you never know, man. It might just happen for you. So,
yeah, big boy.
As we can see throughout the course of the interview, there's two things which you enjoy partaking in, that being whiskey and cigars. So, favorite whiskey, favorite cigar, and why would you say that it would be your favorite?
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. I'll show you something.
Okay. Got props.
So
wow.
Here.
That looks like my cousin Alice's basement, man. The one I talked to you about before the show.
So, of course, you can't go wrong with good old number 7.
Good old Jack Daniels. That was his drink too, man.
This is what I'm sipping on right now. Hibiki. It's actually a Japanese wine. It's Japanese whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very good. It almost tastes like a scotch instead of a bourbon, whiskey bourbon, but it ain't even a bourbon. And this right here is probably my favorite. Numbers, Pappy Van Winkle, 15-year-old. It's a one of a kind. You can only get it once a year.
Okay.
And this one right here is my go-to right now. It's Bullet.
Okay.
If you ever had Bullet bourbon before. So that's my favorite right now.
Okay.
That's my go-to.
I can respect that. I don't see no Crown up there on the shelf though.
Oh, you know what? I just finished off the last of the Crowns actually a couple of days ago. We had Crown Apple, Crown Maple, Crown Vanilla. So don't worry, Crown, because Crown Royal is my wife's favorite whiskey.
Okay, cool.
So Crown Royal in the house. So
Right
don't
on.
worry, we
taste
got
of
the Crown.
Yeah. That's my drink there. All right, so we got a social media question from one of our guys from Facebook. So Dale, what you got for Chris?
So Josh Wilson from Facebook asks if you could make a dream card, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. Dream card. All right, we're going dream, right? Big time dream. Okay. Shawn Michaels versus Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
Macho Man versus Kenny Omega.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. Ooh, wow, that's a good one.
Give me a tag team match.
Dream tag team match. Ooh. Give me a second. Let me think. Young Bucks. I actually really do enjoy the Young Bucks.
Me too. Dale too.
It has to be Young Bucks versus the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart and Owen Hart.
Okay.
And a women's match.
Women's. Give me a second, because I got they're flowing through my head right now. Let me go old school. Alundra Blaze.
Okay.
Versus Alundra Blaze. Why can't I think of her name right now? WWE, NXT. Help me out, guys. I can't think of her name for some reason.
Asuka.
Yes. Alundra Blaze for Asuka. So
okay.
Throwing out dream matches, you're like shit, because you really want to. And ones I wish, Michael versus Eddie Guerrero, that was supposed to happen, and oh my god.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he was taken from us way too soon, man. But hey, name the show. What would the show be called if you had to name the dream show, Chris?
Shit. Oh man, quit putting me on the spot like that.
That's why you're here on the show, brother.
Oh man. I don't know. Wrestle Kingdom Starcade. I don't know. Something.
Wrestle Star Kingdom. Okay, I got you. All right. Hey, so this next portion of the show is dedicated all to your hometown, man. We're calling this the Taste of Chicago. Yes, I have been out there to the Taste of Chicago. Some of the best food and whatnot you're gonna see, and some of the best sights and sounds from that city. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off here. So out of these three restaurants, which would you say would be your favorite? Harold's Chicken Shack, Giordano's, or Portillo's?
What was the first one?
Harold's Chicken Shack, found mostly on the south side of Chicago, Giordano's Pizza, or Portillo's?
Well, I'm gonna break it down like this. Portillo's, they're good, but they become too commercial.
Okay.
Giordano's starting to taste like tomato sauce with some cheese. And the number one will be, of course, Harold's Chicken Shack. But the question is, which Harold's Chicken Shack? Do you go to the one on 47th, or do you go to the one, which is my favorite, on 76 and King Drive? 76 and King Drive, which is my favorite Harold's Chicken Shack.
Okay. I can't remember the street, man. All I remember was my man came up in there wearing a piece, and then there was a dude who was drunk who was in there, and I was thankful that they had the glass that separated him from the people who worked on the other side, because if not, it was going to be a major ruckus up in there. Dale, what you got for Chris?
All right. Favorite Chicago sports team? Bulls, Bears, Cubs, White Sox, or Blackhawks?
Bulls. History of Chicago Bulls. Before I was a professional wrestler, my dream was to be in the NBA. Believe it. I played basketball that was my religion at one point. I played basketball from 5 years old all the way until I was about 24, 25 when I got really serious in professional wrestling.
Okay.
But yeah, history. Like my other idol was Michael Jordan. I mean, I had every one of his DVDs. I had the original "Come Fly With Me" tape from Sports Illustrated.
Sick.
So when we played NBA Live, Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan. I had Jordan versus Bird on Nintendo. I had I remember when Jordan was on NBA 2K3, but they didn't have the permission to use him, so he sued Sega. So anything was Chicago Bulls, and that was always my favorite team. My wife's favorite team, of course, is the Cubs.
Okay. Hey, so now I got to really test you on your Jordan skills here. Hey, did you ever get to see his IMAX film, Jordan in Flight, when it came out that day? Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes,
I never got a chance to see that. This is something that Dell and I can relate to. When the National Bowling Stadium out there in Reno used to have an IMAX theater, that was like one of the only films I remember that actually played out there.
Yeah, I got the DVD.
Okay, very cool, man. Hey, favorite TV show or movie filmed in Chicago? And that includes this show, The Chi, which looks really cool on Showtime.
Okay, I haven't got a chance to watch The Chi yet. Like I said, I am a movie fanatic, and any movie that's filmed in Chicago, I make sure I watch. We go from Running Scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines to, of course, Backdraft. We can go all the way to Primal Fear with Richard Gere and can't think of his name. Who played the Hawk? Oh my God, what can I think of that? I feel bad now. What else? Chicago film, Untouchables.
Okay.
Let's go to, a lot of people don't understand that Child's Play was filmed here in Chicago. Actually, Child's Play was filmed down the street from my house.
Okay.
Gladiator. Of course, you can't go wrong with Blues Brothers. So you have so many Chicago films you could name. I mean, shit. I remember one action film that starred, I can't think of his name. It was called Excessive Force. It starred the guy who was in Karate Kid 3 as the main protagonist. I can't remember his name right now, but he actually made his own movie called Excessive Force, where he's a Chicago police officer taking down a mob crime boss or whatever. And it starred the guy from Candyman. So yeah,
Tony Todd.
It's Tony. Yep.
The brother who played Candyman. Okay, I'm going to look that up then.
It's what you quintessential 90s action flick from the early 90s. So it's actually pretty decent, but it never got it never got a lot of good criticism from it or whatever.
Right. No love for Adventures in Babysitting, huh, Chris? No love for Adventures in Babysitting.
But if you want to go there, I was thinking of Negotiator with Samuel Jackson, because my favorite scene is when he's standing out the window. He's like, "I'm still alive, mother," and of course I can't say that right now, but that was one of my favorites in Chicago history. Of course, Adventures in Babysitting. That's a cool classic. We can go to Ferris Bueller. We can do that one.
Yes.
I like a lot of movies that shows, nostalgia. Chicago, 1980s, 1990s Chicago. It's funny because we're watching a movie from the 80s and 90s, and I look at my wife like, "Oh, I remember that was there," and I remember now that is a hotel and that is a school, and it's just really cool because I'm a huge history fan. I love history because of my grandfather. So I love a lot of Chicago history.
Okay, Del, what you got for Chris?
All right, so we'll turn to Chicago sitcoms. Better sidekick, Urkel or Balky?
If you ever get a chance, go Family Matters. I love Family Matters. That was my show. But Perfect Strangers had the greatest. And my boy pointed this out to me. My guy, Marcelo Spade. I helped train him in professional wrestling. He pointed out to me. He said the theme song is the greatest uplifting theme song if you ever want to listen to. We actually just listen to it. Like, you know what? You're right. And if you ever get a chance, one day, me and my brother, we were just drinking and having a good time. It was on Christmas, and we actually did it called the Family Matters Challenge. We started that. And we did stuff that they would do in the show, the opening scene, they bump into each other and just look at each other like this. Yeah. We actually did it. So if you go on Facebook and you hashtag Family Matters Challenge, our video will pop up.
Okay. How would it go? Everywhere you look, or something like that. Was that it?
Yeah. Everywhere you. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right. So hey, favorite hip hop artist from the Chi: Twista, E.C. Ella, or Kanye West?
Twista, of course, he's always going to have the Adrenaline Rush. That is a cult classic.
Yes.
the reason I'm a big fan of Kanye West. He's just a genius. He's on that thin line of insane and genius. And I actually had, believe it or not, I actually had the opportunity to actually bodyguard him when he first came out. I was his bodyguard for a day.
Nice. Very cool, man. Hey, so at this point, Dell's going to help us wrap this on up, Chris.
So, Chris, we thank you for coming on the show. And at this moment, we're going to open the floor to you to let us know any upcoming shows and appearances you got coming up.
I will be wrestling for Berwyn Championship Wrestling on the 27th. I'm actually going against Terry Smothers. That's going to be interesting. Booking-wise, right now, my bookings have been kind of slow due to work. I'm supposed to be wrestling for Just for Wrestling in March. But the one I'm telling you guys you really need to look out for is by Billy Wack. It's going to be called The Wrestling Show. That one is going to be starting out sometime in the end of February. And that's the show you got to look out for. When it starts, it's going to blow you away. And when that happens, trust me, I will send you a link, and I will, tell you got to look at it as much as possible. Those are the bookings I got coming up at this moment in time. I'm supposed to be wrestling for Wisconsin Pro Wrestling very soon as well. I don't have the bookings for that. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I'm wrestling for Ben McCoy. Ben McCoy, he is a veteran of the military. He actually was injured in the line of duty over there in Afghanistan. He actually took a bullet to the face. But he's alive and well. He's wrestling right now in Wisconsin and other places. He has a benefit show coming up in Wisconsin on the 24th for veterans. When I get the full information, I will forward you to you guys. You guys
Definitely.
do me a favor. But it's going, everything's going towards veterans and people of the military.
Very cool, man. Also, tell our viewers how they can stay in touch with you on social media.
On Twitter at Shogun_C.Logan63. You can follow me also on Instagram, Shogun_C.Logan. You can follow me on Facebook at Shogun Chris Logan fan page. And also, if any bookers are watching this, please do not hesitate. Email me at Shogun_C.Logan63@yahoo.com. I am available for anywhere. Trust my prices ain't high. If you just got a bottle of bourbon for me, I'm happy. So I'm not an alcoholic. Please, nobody call nobody on, please. But that's how you can get in contact.
Okay, so before we conclude here, I have a correction to make. Actually, that was a verse from the Full House theme song that we sung. Actually, for Family Matters, it was As Days Go By. That was Family Matters. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
a different love. Yeah.
We got it right though. Hey, so one thing is for sure, we sure wish we could sit here and talk to my man, the Shogun Chris Logan, all night long. But fortunately, we have came to the end of this episode of No Gimmicks Podcast. So thank you for tuning in for our interview with Chris Logan. Chris, it's been a pleasure having you on, brother.
Once again, thank you guys for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. It's another humbling experience that somebody take their time to, interview me and, see where I come from. I really, really appreciate both of you. Thank you so much.
Hey, man, thank you. We appreciate you too. We are No Gimmicks, No Image, all wrestling all the time. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share our videos.
No gimmicks. Yeah. No gimmicks, taking over, no limits. Motivation, the truth inside everything you are hearing. Important live, know you feel it. Wrestling is everything that we will know.